Hey guys, welcome to another video on the Inside Spurs channel. Happy Thursday afternoon. I hope we're all okay. I hope we're all all right. I hope the day and the week is treating you well. Obviously, first video back since the start of, well, since basically last year. So happy New Year to you all. Hope the New Year's festivities were fantastic and you weren't as hungover as I was. But in this video, we've got a really busy video in this video because we've got a lot to catch up on. We've also got to do the preview for Newcastle. So we've got transfer news surrounding Richarlison, Sam Johnston, Dani Olmo, weirdly. Ben Godfrey's name popping up again. We've got injury news surrounding Dani Udogie and quite bad injury news in that regard. We're going to be talking about, obviously, the game, like I said, and all things in that. Just want to say, if you're watching this, you need to subscribe. If you very much want to join us for the journey. And look, I think obviously, this window, I've said so many different times, is such an important window. You know, yes, we obviously have a situation pretty much across every sort of position group. We have a need, really, which I think is a bit mental. I think the probably one that you'd say maybe we don't have a need is if both your strikers are fit, which that's an issue because they're not. Only one of them is. Maybe right back with the emergence of Jed Spence, you might say. But in reality, the rest of the team has a need within that area, okay? With obviously now Dani Udogie going down injured in the last game and, you know, being out for as long as he is, which I'll talk about in just a second, the need for a left-back or at least a left-back / left centre-back hybrid just took a massive, massive swing. You know, I think you and I probably sat there and went, that left-back, left centre-back area is probably something we need to do something in, right? After hearing the news around Dani Udogie, that's the first area of need. It's not attacker, it's not goalkeeper, it's nothing. For me, it's that area. So if you aren't aware, Dani Udogie is to miss out on up to about 2 months worth of football. So we are going to be having him back in a new season because it's winter right now. It will be the spring by the time he's back. So we're going to be talking about early March to mid-March that Dani Udogie will be back playing football again, which is a horrific blow. Absolutely horrific. It's such a shame that has happened. And this isn't on Ange. This isn't for me on the club. And it's not on the medical team because going into a season where you minimum play 38 games a season, you minimum play 8 games in the Europa League, you are at 46 games, okay? You then get a game in the EFL Cup or the League Cup and a game in the FA Cup. You are a minimum 48 game season. And that's with no progression in the Europa League, which even if you do get a promotion and it's into that second block, you have to play a playoff. There's no progression in the EFL Cup or FA Cup. Now, obviously, with the EFL Cup, we've played multiple games. So we're well into the 50 games a season. And the idea of, oh, it's fine. Dani Udogie, who, yes, he's had injuries. Yeah, he'll be fine. He'll be the only left back we need this season. And that was a gross mistake that they made. And they have to rectify it this month. And they have to rectify it soon. Don't wait till the 29th of January to get that player. Dani would have been gone nearly 4 weeks by that point. This needs to be rectified ASAP, in my opinion. I think that, for me, that's the one area that I go, that's where we need to be first and foremost. Then we'll talk about the rest of the team. But that's the area we need to be in. Hey, Dragon Mate, how are we? Have we signed anyone yet? Jesus. Hogan, how are we, mate? Hey, David, Jazz, Sonia, how are we all? How are we all? Look, regardless, that's mental. But anyway, let's jump in and let's talk some transfer news. Why not? Let's start with the man on the thumbnail, Mr. Richarlison himself. Sky Sports News saying that Richarlison, who's been linked with a move back to Brazil on a number of occasions, has absolutely no desire to leave Spurs during the transfer window. I think we all could probably see that. I don't think the club truly want to move him on this window. I think that what they are hoping is, and maybe it's foolish hope, and maybe it's one of those ones where I'll be a glass half full guy on this one. Maybe his massive injury concerns are behind him. Yeah, he might pick up a niggle here or there during the rest of the season, but you know, maybe only missing a game or two instead of missing 2 or 3 months at a time. Maybe the injury woes are behind him. Now, obviously, there is zero evidence to back that up, by the way. And I'm not saying he will have any issues going into the rest of the season, but maybe that's where their thinking is. You know, they got Lancashire there, who I'm going to be talking about in a minute as well. Is that a situation potentially? maybe they go, we think we'll be okay to the end of the season, which I can get. Spurs need to add in quite a few players, right? They're not signing 8 to 10 players this window. I mean, the fact that we're talking about 4 positions, I still see Spurs only getting 2 players. 3 if they're having a really great window. Because signing 3 in January is bonkers. So I don't see them looking at striker and going, we're gonna move Richarlison to bring someone in unless they get a crazy offer and unless he wants to go. Which he's been quite adamant that he doesn't want to leave, and you can't force a player to leave. You can kind of subtly suggest to them that you're not going to play many minutes. Let's get you to a club where you're going to play minutes. But unfortunately, January's not really that month. Okay, I think people that talk about just cancel Werner's loan, just cancel Werner's loan. Not how that loan works, unfortunately. The power, I've always said, and if you've been watching me for any sort of time over the last sort of month, you would know Leipzig have the control in that deal. Spurs, to break that loan contract, they basically have to get signed off by Leipzig. And Leipzig, if they want to say no, are fully entitled to say no, and Spurs can't move him. So there you go. I'll talk about Dorgu potentially in a minute. Adventurous, how are you, mate? If Richie's saying, would you consider Victor Roges? I'm not sure if Victor Roges is. Sorry, Jazz. But look, that's on Richarlison. Moving on, let's talk about Sam Johnson quickly. So Graham Bailey, within the last hour, saying that TBR Foot One stands, Tottenham could be ready to make a move for Sam Johnson, who can leave Wolves this month. Now, Sam Johnson is the number 2 goalkeeper at Wolves, someone that we've been linked to previously at Spurs. Homegrown, solid number 2 keeper. I don't think this is a bad move whatsoever, by the way. I don't hate this move. It'll be quite a cheap move. It's someone that we got linked to before he went to Wolves, and I said I don't mind the idea of going for a Sam Johnston. So again, I'm going to continue the sort of message I relayed the first time. I don't mind the move. I think getting Sam Johnson might be a shrewd bit of business. Again, as a backup goalkeeper, no harm in that. He's Prem proven, which a lot of us always want. Now, people will look at his time at Crystal Palace or Wolves or anyone like that and say, well, they shipped goals, they did that and the other. Fine, I can understand that. But, he's playing for clubs that are maybe lower in the league than that. Now, that's ignoring this year. What I'm talking about is previous years as well. But, Jose Sarr is a good goalkeeper. I've always rated Jose Sarr, to be fair. And he obviously lost his place to Jose Sarr. So, again, if it's cost efficient and it's an easy deal, fine. But Spurs also have said, they might not look at the goalkeeper this month because, well, probably in about 4 to 6 weeks' time, Vicario's back. We'll see what damage has been done. I mean, since he's been out, we've had issues galore. So let's see if we can really bounce back when he does get back, and let's see how much damage has been done. And I think that'll be, that'll be really massively evident with Vic being out. I think everyone who maybe wasn't the best of lovers of Vic have sort of gone, actually, he's not bad. And people that were maybe like a little bit more higher on him going, oh, I thought he was a good keeper, but actually I think we have missed him. And for me, who I think Vic's a solid keeper, yeah, we have missed him and we've been worse without him. And as that's with the defense being as makeshift it is, I think there's probably a situation you could say, actually, we probably would be a little bit better off had he been in the goal, which is what you want from your number 1. So let's see how much damage has been done since he's been gone, though. And if we can actually salvage any of these situations. Because Forster's done decently. It's not something you don't want your backup goalkeeper having to play, more than the game here and there. He's done decently for what you can hope for, but at the same time, is also he's not here for the long run, and he's not as good as Vic. So there you go. Moving on really quickly, Godfrey, someone I said that we have no interest in, but the rumours are still coming out through Rudy Giletti and people like that. Apparently, Wolves, Forest, and Spurs have asked for information on Ben Godfrey. And he'll be allowed to leave in January. And this isn't the move that we should be doing. No, I don't think Spurs are in there. But if they are, this is a worrying move. I can't lie. I mean, he was moved on from Everton for a reason. This would be one of those typical Levy moves where this isn't someone that Ange truly wants, but Ange is saying, actually, I'd rather him than nothing. And Levy's going, well, that's the thing. We can't get those players that you want, Ange, that are good players, because that requires us to, you know, pull our finger out and do the work. We can get him nice and easy. Let's get him on loan for the 6 months, you know. So, hey, ho, ho, hum. Right, moving on. I want to talk about this article that Alistair Gold put out surrounding players that could be leaving in January. You know, he talks about Timo Werner and explains how to move off of Timo Werner, Leipzig have to accept him, which they very much won't, if I'm honest. Spurs would probably have to send them money to get him gone, which I don't see Spurs doing. Spurs don't really do that, to be honest. He goes on to talk about Sergio Reguilon, and they're saying, look, they want to add into their left-back room and add a player in, but him having the 6 months left on his deal, he has all the power in the world to maybe just agree a pre-contract and just wait out for another 6 months. But Spurs will probably take any move that they can get to move him away. Which, by the way, I think we should still add in a left back. And hell, if he doesn't accept that move or anything like that, I'd be like, right, well, you're not in the squad. You're not going to play for 6 months. Just an FYI. Like, we need your squad spot. You're not playing. Because he should have known in the summer, I need to move. And there was you would expect there to be a few moves on the table, and they didn't. They didn't pull the trigger. So I would hope Spurs can be a bit more ruthless in this regard. Because I think at times we've been a little bit too sentimental, a little bit too nice in certain deals with certain players. This is one of those that you go, look, we told you you're not going to play. Like, told you, we loaned you out twice in one season last season. The situation isn't going to improve any better, and you're still here. And fine, if you want to still be here and pick up your wages, that's fine. Reserves are that way, mate. That's the way I look at it. It's 2025. Reguilon should be nowhere near the squad. Should be nowhere near playing. But that's how poor the squad has been built, that he actually is in and around. Hey, is it Micah Stewart or Mitcha Stewart? I apologize, I don't say no, but Happy New Year to yourself. Olmo isn't coming to Spurs. Come on, I don't think so either, but I'm coming to it in a second. Her rumours about Biss and Bentancur leaving this window sounds crazy to me. I don't think Bissouma or Bentancur are leaving this window. It'll be in the summer, potentially. He talked about Will Lancashire. He said he expects him to stick around unless Spurs sign a striker late in the window, but that'll be a loan move. I'm coming to a bit of a chat about Lancashire, because there is interest from clubs in him to potentially take him on permanently as well. He talks about Alfie Dorrington. He said that potential loan move could be taken up. He expects Tyrese Hall to be loaned out. And he also talked about Josh Keeley and Jamie Donnelly down at Leyton Orient, both having a really good run, by the way. If you didn't see, Jamie Donnelly scored a free kick for Leyton Orient last game out, and absolutely unbelievable free kick, by the way. I can't stress enough, go and have a look at it if you missed it. But I expect Jamie to be kept at Leyton Orient because he's finding his groove now. It's taken a few months, but he's found his groove. Josh Keeley, I could so see them going, hey, thanks for the 6 months down there with you boys. We're going to move on to the Championship now because he's too good for League One. And he is too good for League One. I mean, he played for a team. He's coming to a team who were near the bottom of League One, and it's been banging out clean sheet. Hell, he's scored goals and assisted goals. He's clearly not too good for League One. All right. But regardless, if he stayed there, it's not the end of the world. It's good development. I don't see Bissouma going in the summer. I feel Bentancur has more to offer in this formation under a new manager if we end up getting one in the summer. I can see, if I'm going to be real, I like Bentancur. I think he's a good player, but he's rash. And in the last couple of years, he's missed a lot of football. And my issue there is, we shouldn't. This is going to sound really harsh, by the way. And maybe this next block of months where maybe he stays injury free, but for me, we shouldn't be rewarding players who have missed so much football in the last 2 years with a new deal. That's what clubs who don't want to spend money and don't want to improve their squad do. He's in his late 20s as well, so he is getting no younger. And I said about Ben Davies, as you get older, injuries crop up more and more and more, and time to get over injuries takes a little bit longer. So if Bentancur for the next few months misses some more football, maybe get some more injuries, suspensions potentially, I'm looking to move him in the summer. I think the same with Bissouma and Bentancur. I think are somewhat I'm assuming it's labelled with inconsistent. I mean, I like Bentancur. I don't think Bentancur is consistent enough. You know, I just think there's a situation there where they're both going to have a year left on the contract. They're both in their late 20s. Pulling the trigger on moving both of them and replacing them with guys that are like 24, 25, I think might be the play. Because then you've got those guys for like 5 years. You know, Cardoso, for example, you know, you see my vibe? The thing is, there is a thing about still treating players well, even if not wanted. Shows to players who are... No, I know. But what I would say is we need to stop enabling players at times. I mean, I've defended our players countless times through all the abuse and things like that, and the club have been great for it as well. But there is a point to say to a player, you do need to move on, though, by the way. And then if they choose to not move when they've got offers, and let's be honest, every player in the world probably always gets an offer every single window. It doesn't mean it's anything serious. So, like, you know, Jude Bellingham is an offer. You know, players like Trent right now, right? Doesn't mean he moves. But you also need to say is he's been here how many years? He's stunk up the joint how many times? He shouldn't be here. He just flat out shouldn't be here. So if there is a deal in place and Spurs go, great, we've got a deal in place for you, and he goes, no, then I go, not a problem. We're taking your squad spot away from you, though. You're more than welcome to train, but you won't have a squad spot. That's the way we need to be. We need to be way more ruthless because all the big teams are way more ruthless than we ever are. We need to be better at that. Great to see so many of the loanees tearing up. Gives me hope for the future. We've got loads of good loanees. Loan roundup I haven't actually done for a couple of weeks. So I might have to do it maybe tomorrow. Maybe tomorrow. As a fellow Irishman, I hope Keely's on one day. He has the potential to be. It's crazy to think that once players leave the club, they never get injured again. I don't think it's the players themselves. I think it's the club. Look, I think it's probably a mixture of quite a few different people, if I'm honest. I think a lot of people at the club, as maybe potentially the players, you know, that's the thing with players is like, you know, are they willing to push through a bit of a sore toe and things like that? Because club players at other clubs really do push through the pain barrier. I mean, the one thing about Romero, you says Romero tried to play through the pain barrier for us and Argentina. So don't say anyone that says about Argentina because I don't want to hear it. He did it for us as well. We don't, you know, is there a situation where they don't do it enough? I know at Man United they don't do that. You know, if they sneeze in the night, they're going to rule themselves out for the weekend at times. So, you know, we'll see. Go out and sign Bakayoko. Do you know what? Bakayoko's market has been super quiet. Super quiet. We should swap Richie for Rashford. No, I don't want Rashford anywhere near this football club. Not at all. Happy New Year, Andy, for you, your family and friends. Your channel, mate, kicks ass over many others. To be honest, I'd wipe my backside with You're a Legend, a highly recommended channel, mate. I appreciate that. DJ, how are you, mate? Happy New Year to yourself. Hope you're okay. Two guys, that's it, absolutely. Big up, Andy. Happy New Year. You two, Adese. Vic paid for the pain bar as well. We're looking at James Trafford from Burnley. Yeah, we're someone that we've been linked to for sure. Right, let's talk Dani Olmo. By the way, I'm going to start with this one early doors. I don't see this happening at all. Okay, so before anyone goes, it's not going to happen, Andy. God. I'm like, hey, I agree with you. But Mundo Deportivo have said that Tottenham Hotspur have made inquiries over signing attacking midfielder Dani Olmo this month. Should Barcelona fail to register him and the midfielder becomes a free agent during this January transfer window. So if I remember reading into this one with a bit more detail, it got rejected out of a court. And then I think they made an appeal, and I think that got rejected. And then, but Barcelona, I still think they believe they'll get him registered this month. So if that, maybe I've missed something in between. The meantime, like I said, I've been a bit hungover from New Year's and Christmas, so I've been a bit out of the loop about a lot of things. But I believe that's the situation. I think they will get him registered this month. Barcelona always find a way at the moment. I don't know. I mean, they're probably looking down the back of the sofa to find some euros, but I think it'll probably get itself sorted. If we were to take this on face value, and let's say there's truth to this, are you telling me that Manchester City aren't all over this? Manchester City, who have been interested in Dani Olmo previous to this move to Barcelona, they're going to be all over this deal because he's exactly what they could do with right now. You know, they could look to move Bernardo Silva and players who are a little bit older, who are quite, I mean, De Bruyne probably in the summer is gone. Dani Olmo is the perfect player for them right now. You're telling me maybe a Liverpool would be interested, and Arsenal could really do with him. I mean, you think if Ødegaard misses games, the creativity really takes a dip. Well, Dani Olmo would really help that. I mean, there'll be teams. I mean, Bayern Munich maybe could come back in. He's played in Germany, played for Leipzig. You can see a Bayern Munich maybe sniffing around. So, look, I don't for a second believe Spurs. I mean, look, here we go. I think Spurs are interested. I don't for a second think Spurs are even remotely a favourite to get him. You know what I mean? So, I'm not going to really take any real notice of this story. The guy's not coming to us. But if he is interested, do not show him the league table. Never sell Kunu. He's our next captain. Well, I don't see it happening. Maybe because him wanting to stay in Barca, even though he can't be registered. Who would I rather have? James Trafford-Patterson. I'd have to do a bit more research, D's, into who's better, really. I don't really know enough about their specific data. Dani Olmo will be registered. It was confirmed a couple of hours ago. Yeah, I think they'll get it sorted by the end of the month. Yeah, by the end of the month at least. But there you go. So look, there's a bit of a transfer roundup. Look, there's a situation, I guess, developing really, you would say, at Spurs with just sheer volume of issues that we need to add. So I'm really looking forward to... That's weird. I'm really looking forward to what we do this month. We have to be busy. We have to be busy. There is no excuses not to be as well. But hey, there we go. Anyway, let's talk about Newcastle, because we've got Newcastle 12:30 on Saturday morning. Who do you think we should sign first, Andy? With a 30 million budget? God, I don't know, mate. Patrick Dorgu. Give me Dorgu, and we'll work from there. I'm not confident at the moment. I've had to tell you, if we start flirting with the drop zone, then let me have a call to make no pressure this window, Ange. Well, if you can give a guy some players that can actually stay fit, and maybe give him players that then gives you the ability to rotate, you'll actually see the performances change. I mean, the drop-off between having Mickey Van der Ven and Romero points per game to not having them is like half a point every single game, that's ridiculous of a drop-off. So give a guy the fighting chance. Where's his statement? I don't know what the budget is, but people thinking we're spending 80, 90, 100 million. Even though we probably could, we're not going to be anywhere near that market. I mean, look, we spent, I would say, about 30 million in total on the Werner Dragusin deal, maybe about 35. I think there'll be something in around that number with all the things added up, I'll tell you, draw against Newcastle, but it's a must-win game. Getting hammering Saturday lunchtime. Hate to say it. What do I think about Kakare? Kakare? Do you mean Maxence? What a name that is, by the way. Maxence Kakare. Cool, he's born 10 days before me. Apparently he's quite linked to Everton. He's got some good stats, though. Do you know what, Callum? That's a good shout. He's got some good, interesting stats. He's not a very big number 6. That'll make people concerned. Heard the budget was about 30 million. Yeah, I don't know. Well, I think those numbers can always be misconstrued. That's why I don't really try and take too much from them. So let's talk Newcastle. So Newcastle Spurs, 12:30 Saturday kickoff. Newcastle at the moment are in that 5th spot, and I'll talk about that 5th spot because obviously there's like a 98% chance that the 5th spot this year will be a Champions League spot. It was something similar last year, and then pretty much most European teams absolutely stunk up and pooped the bed. So as long as, I mean, you think Liverpool at the moment, who are killing the Champions League, they should be good. You'd expect Man City or Arsenal to be at least into the next round. Arsenal, I think, are in the top 8 as well, so they should be through. Man City are in the next bunch, but would you want to play Man City when they need to, when the game's on the line? I wouldn't want to go near them. And I think Villa are doing all right in the Champions League as well. So there's a chance that all 4 go through, but I think there's a good chance at least 3 will go through. Obviously, in the Europa League, got Manchester United and Spurs. If one of us, stops stinking up the gaff, they'll go through. And then obviously Chelsea are absolutely killing the Conference League. There'll be no issues. So I think it's probably a good chance that at least one of those Champions League sides is going to go very, very deep into the competition. And it wouldn't shock me if Liverpool even won the Champions League. They are that good at the moment. I'd expect Chelsea to win the Conference League, which, yes, points per, I think it's like points-wise, it doesn't add up as much, obviously, as the other two. But if you're going to win it, that's still big points. So I think there's a situation where, yeah, you will get that 5th spot in the Champions League this year. Leon on financial trouble is good quarterback. Pinger, oh, there you go. Bit like an Angel Gomez. I prefer Andy Diouf over Kakare. He's not as small. I thought you were talking about me for a second. I was like, well, yeah, I'm not as small, but I can't get around the pitch as well as him. Throw the bus and buy Delap. I think he'll be back at City in the summer. Do you think Liverpool play their second team in the League Cup when we play them? Their second team is still a very good team. Very good team. Teddy, mate, how you been? How you been, Teddy? Cherokee, it wouldn't shock me if Spurs are snooping around that deal because it's a cheap deal, isn't it? But anyway, back to Newcastle. Newcastle coming off of the back of 4 wins in their last 5. Obviously coming in with great form. Great form. Yeah, probably the best striker in the Premier League at the moment is Alexander Isak, who is just tearing up the league at the moment. Such a good player. Obviously, a midfield 3 of Joelinton, Bruno Guimaraes, and Tonali has looked like a really good trio recently. They were fantastic against Man United last time out. Really dominant. Kind of like when we played Man United 3-0 away from home. That style performance, they were very, very, very good. So look, not an easy game whatsoever. Just give you some facts about Spurs and Newcastle. This is my favourite one. Tottenham versus Newcastle is the most played Premier League fixture never to finish 0-0. And that's in 59 meetings. There's been 189 goals scored in those games between the sides. And it's the 3rd highest scoring fixture in Premier League history. So, safe to say, expect goals. Okay, it's safe to say, expect goals. Tottenham have won 2 of their last 3 Premier League home games against Newcastle, losing the other one. And as many as they had in their previous 7. So there you go. Spurs actually in the last 3 have been pretty decent against Newcastle at home. But Newcastle have won 4 of their last 5 Premier League games against Spurs, having only lost the other one. So look, they're coming in here full of form, full of beans, full of energy, and pretty damn healthy, I won't lie. 2 permanents, 1 loan, maybe 1. Maybe. Yeah. I wouldn't worry about the budget right now. Anyone thinking about a budget for January, let's not worry about it right this second because none of us truly know. None of us truly know, all right? Looking at the Newcastle injuries or suspension side of things, at the moment, they are still missing Callum Wilson and Jamal Lascelles. Nick Pope is apparently, he's doing okay. He's had a couple of injections in his knee. Not sure when he'll be fit, but he apparently going to be ruled out for this game. Just saying. This is what the Premier League website is giving me. Emil Kraft as well went under surgery about 2 weeks ago. Botman's getting closer, so you never really know. And they believe Fabian Schär is missing this game with suspension. So interesting. They're missing a few players, but for the most part, when you look at the team they go with, I'm just going to bring up Man United versus Newcastle because this happened only 3 days ago. So by the way, they've had 1 less day rest than us. 1 less day? They've had 1 less day rest than us. There you go. They're coming in more tired than us. No, they're not. Everyone knows they're not. But Dubravka was in goal. Lewis Hall, Dan Burn, Fabian Schär, who obviously got picked up the booking, and Kieran Trippier at the back. The midfield 3 of Joelinton, Guimaraes, and Tonali, and the front 3 of Gordon, Isaac, and Jacob Murphy. I mean, looking at the bench, Lloyd Kelly's on the bench, so he might come in for Fabian Schär. Tino Livramento is on the bench. He could feature. Harvey Barnes is still there. The rest of it looks all right. It's nothing crazy. But yeah, those guys are probably saying the most important ones off the bench. So coming into this, somewhat healthy is the way I'd look at it. A lot healthier than us, I would say, but somewhat healthy. Needs to get moving, really. I get it's only the second, but there isn't much concrete at the moment. Well, there never is, though, at the moment, is there, with Johan Lang and how we work. may not have no budget for this window and have to rely on selling some of their players to raise funds. Good luck to them. Good luck to them. Yeah, good luck to them. We'll beat them 3-1, says Rec. Rec, how are you, mate? Look, for me, Spurs are going to come into this game. God, it's just injured. Just injured is the way I'm summing up. You know, you're missing your keeper, and you're now missing your left back for 2 months. You're missing your left centre back. You're missing your right centre back. You're going to be missing your backup striker or rotation striker. You're missing, obviously, 2 left wingers, potentially, if Mikey's not back and Richarlison may be back. We'll have to see on those 2. Wait for Ange's press conference before I say if they have or haven't. Obviously, you're missing Ben Davies as well. So looking at it, I think the team probably, barring maybe 1 or 2, picks itself just because there is nobody else. So Forster in goal. Do you think Spencer's going to be at left back? Archie Gray, Dragoshin, Pedro and Porro. Midfield 3. Bentancur's. Oh, Bentancur's missing. I forgot. Bentancur's missing. There you go. There's another one missing. God, Jesus Christ. Basuma, Sarr, Maddison, Son, Solanke, Kulu, maybe is the way I'd go about that. With, you know, Johnson, Bergvall off of the bench. You know, is Mikey Moore back? You'd expect Mikey to be back. They said he'd be training last week, so you'd expect him to be back for this game, at least off the bench for 10, 15 minutes. Again, people going, when he's back into the team. It's like, missed 2 months of football. Let's maybe just ease him back in. Obviously, Richarlison supposedly started training this week. Is this game enough time post-starting, come back from training? I mean, look, even if it's, do you know what? Richy, 10 minutes off the bench. Just 10 minutes off the bench if we need you. It's something. Because going forward and looking at Spurs' fixtures, for the love of everything and holy, you go all out for that Liverpool game. All out in 4 days' time, which I just hang on. When's just having a look really quickly. Liverpool play Sunday. So you are going to be facing a Liverpool team who, look, way, way fresher than you due to the fact they can rotate because, you know, they're not an idiotic club like us. They will have 1 less day rest than us. It's something to hold your hat onto. It's maybe not a lot, but it's something. And by the 8th of January, can Spurs have someone through the door? It's unlikely, but you never know. With the way the world works, it works in mysterious ways. But let's see about that. But you go all out for that game. Then after that, you've got Tamworth in the FA Cup, which, look, we shouldn't be going out there with any first-teamers. You might have a few on the bench, but you're not going out there with any first-teamers because, let's be honest, between Liverpool and our next game that isn't Tamworth is Arsenal away a week following. And Arsenal, if I'm correct, bringing up their fixtures. So they play Tuesday against Newcastle. So they play away at Brighton on Saturday at 5:30, the 5:30 kickoff. They play Tuesday at home to Newcastle in the first leg of the EFL Cup. They then play at home to Manchester United in the FA Cup, which Man United are going to be going all out for that. I know they still got the Europa League, but they're out of the League Cup now. At least, you know, with us or all these other teams have League Cup, they don't. So Man United are going to be a lot more fresher for that game, having, you know, not the fact they don't have to play the League Cup like Arsenal do. And then Arsenal get us afterwards. And then that's followed by Villa at home. So missing Saka for that as well, you know, just saying. We'll see about that. Get in your scoreline predictions in the comments and everything. My line will be Foster, Spence, Radu, Archie, Porro, Basuma, Madders, Kulu, Johnson, Sanki, Son. Interesting you go on that. How is Due doing? Just not that I want him now. Don't think he's playing that much at PSG, if I'm honest, or not enough. They'll just take long shots from the outside box here. Forster can save them. Adizi does save them. Not with his hands, with his feet. The mental man. Forster went down last game. What if Brandon Austin has to start? Then Brandon Austin will have to start and should go full attack against Newcastle. I think, for me, I think Johnson off the bench, tired legs, especially if Newcastle are also thinking maybe the cup game in the week as well. That's the way I'd go about it. They can't handle the pressure. We just need bodies to play. We do. The current crisis, Ange has to take full blame, and as such, is the same as last year. Never bought defenders. I'm not sure if you know what managers do really when it comes to January transfer windows or summer transfer windows. And this goes for every manager in all of football. They aren't the ones that buy the players. The club buy the players. I don't know if you knew that. Ange can't just go out and go, right, I'm buying him, him, and him. In you come, lads. Right, let's get to work. He's not the one who controls those things. And if you know anything about Daniel Levy, when has he ever truly backed and fully went for it with a manager? The answer is never. Mo Salah will smash us if he plays. We will be there. Put me in at left back. Put me in left back. I'm just going to pick him up. I'm just going to run down the tunnel with him. Arne Slot going, I need you to stop. And I'm like, get out of my way, Arnie. Yeah. You come with me, Mo. I'm just going to lock him in the dressing room. I'm like, right, you stay in here. Enjoy that Powerade and Lucasade, but you're not getting out here because Lord have mercy, we don't need you out there. He'd probably run away from me because he's a lot quicker than me, but that's neither here nor there. All right. I'll see him as they come through the parking lot. I'll be like, right, there he is. Get him. But look, with Spurs Newcastle, look, it's a game that expect goals. It's a game that right now Spurs are sitting 8 points behind Newcastle at the moment. Okay. Now, look, it's so hard to sit here and say that we're going to win this game. It is. Be realistic. The injuries are just bonkers at the moment, and there just isn't a lot we can do. But hypothetically, if Spurs go out there because the first half, we always have energy in the first half. You know, it's about 60, 65 minutes where Spurs start to really tail off energy-wise. Look, if you can get the game done by then, you've got a chance. But for me, I'm gonna sit here and say a draw. I'm gonna go with a 2-2. Hansi, I see you comment. I think 2-2 was the way I will go. That's probably where I'm going to be. If Ange plays the same way versus Liverpool, he deserves a sack. Okay, mate. Thoughts of Odegaard? I like him. That's all I can give you. If we don't have a decent window, I hope some of the fan base realise it's not Ange not wanting players, it's Levy not wanting to spend. That's just true, mate. If they don't understand it after, 3 windows, they're never going to understand it. Sorry, mate. Obviously not sorry to you, sorry to them. Because anyone that can't understand, it's aboves have never really looked at what the situation was before Ange. Conte didn't get fully back the way he wanted to. Mourinho didn't. Poch didn't. Redknapp didn't. AVB probably was the only one, maybe, but I don't think he truly wanted all 7 of those players. I mean, Vlad Chiriches, did he really truly want him? Like, no offense to Nasir Chadli, did he truly want him? So, yeah, it's not Ange. It's not Ange. 2-1, Toons, Ange getting sacked. Okay. Lots of them don't understand it. We need to extend the squad. Agreed. So look, I'm going to go 2-2. My goal scorers, do you know what? 6 days of rest. 6 days of rest, new year, just leave. This is what I'm saying to the players. Leave what happened last season that way. Like back in 2024. Leave it there. 2025 now. Fresh slate. It's time to get going again. All right? Win this game, people start to really get behind the team again. We're a little fickle fan base at times. You know what it's like with every football fan base. Lose games, the world's ending. You know, everyone's the worst player in the world. Manager's rubbish. Win this game, players are great. Love the manager. Oh, every fan base is like it, right? But if you start the season off with a win, hell, it doesn't even have to be convincing. Even if it was like a 4-3, and it's just end to end. They hit the post like 4 times, but you still win. You'll still get people, even if you won this game 10-0, going, I didn't like this one moment in the 64th minute. You know, you're always going to get the ones that nitpick everything. But if you win this game, you go in with a little bit of confidence into that Liverpool game. Go into a little bit of confidence potentially into that Arsenal game. Confidence is a crazy thing. Momentum is a crazy thing. If you've ever watched sport for long enough, you know momentum is technically something that isn't seen. You don't see this thing called momentum. You don't notice that thing called momentum. It's not standing right in front of you, but it's infectious. And you never know. If you get a goal sort of 10, 15 minutes into this game, you just never know what can happen. You just never know. And that's the key thing here. You never know what's going to happen. 6 days worth of rest for this Spurs group is like a month off on holiday. Hopefully they all got tons of rest. Loads of rest, loads of early nights, you know. Most time watching movies in front of the TV. Oh, I'm going to fall asleep in this movie. Brilliant. Sleep is your ally here. Resting and not having to play football is your ally here. So I'm hoping they got a lot of rest. Still got a couple more days. Obviously, I know they'll be training now, but training's not too bad. Get some rest. Get at it on Saturday. First game of the weekend. First game of a weekend of a new season. I know obviously there was a game yesterday, but I'm just talking about the weekend football. It's the first game of a new year. Get a win. Something can happen. You know, maybe then you get some additions, right? Get some new players coming back, getting some players fitter again. Richy and Mikey and Mickey, and Ben's not going to be far away either. And Romero. Bentancur's going to be back after this game. Bentancur's going to have 2 weeks off. And if he doesn't come back and able to play a smashing 90 minutes, we've got issues because he can't. That's just not. He's never played. He hasn't played enough football to be tired, right? Just never know. Just never know. I'm trying to be positive. Maybe I'm a fool for it, but positive, you know? Our fan base is a lot of idiots. Solanke and Johnson to score. Unsure of the score. Every game is scary right now. Don't you think the assistant week play contributes to the injuries we have? I think the lack of ability to rotate is the biggest issue, mate. The biggest issue. And we've had injury issues at this club for years previous to Ange. Mourinho had them. Conte had them. It's no different. Now, he's probably not helped Ange. I won't deny that. But I'm not sticking it all on Ange. If they sack Ange, I think the players will be extremely disappointed. The team will struggle. Well, look, the players are behind Ange. The players behind Ange, but we'll see. No team in the Premier League that has 12 injuries to key players could win games easily. Seriously. Yeah, no, agree. But let's see. Get your comments in down below. Your thoughts and feelings ahead of all the transfer news and all of the stuff around the game. I'll be back tomorrow to speak a little bit more about Spurs. I'll see you all then. Take care. Peace.